Good evening, everyone, brothers and sisters, aunties and uncles. Thank you again, CareerTrackers, for allowing me to speak tonight and share one alumni voice. I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land we're gathered on tonight. I pay my respects to our elders, both past and present, for they are the ones that broke down barriers, built the bridges, and continue to be our people's culture carriers and our teachers. I personally would like to acknowledge the non-Indigenous brothers and sisters in the room tonight. Your presence and continued support of the CareerTrackers program allows us to create real opportunities. Opportunities like tonight where we celebrate Indigenous excellence. My name is George Brown Jr. I'm a proud First Nations man from the Yuin Nation and Wiradjuri Nations. I grew up on a small Aboriginal community called Wreck Bay, which is located in the Jervis Bay area. One of the deadly things about my community is that we own and jointly manage our national park, Booderee, similar to Uluru and Kakadu. But my vision and my people's vision is to get to sole management, to be self-sufficient and to have self-determination. I invite you all, if you have the chance, to come down and see our beautiful country. For some of you, I may look familiar. I was a keynote speaker in 2012 as an intern. In that speech, I spoke about my challenges at university, which included being suspended for 1 full year because I continued to fail the one particular subject. I spoke about my lessons learnt, etc., etc. I also recall talking about being raised by two strong, cultured and respected parents who only had a limited high school education during a time when they were considered flora and fauna. But I also recall standing here in front of you in our community and sharing my long-term vision and personal goal of returning back home to my community and giving back. I'm happy to share that I have achieved that goal. As a proud CareerTrackers alumni, I've been asked to share my journey since graduating university and this program. Please note that I'm only one voice, one example of our deadly alumni from our community. So a little about me, even though Adam gave some insight. I graduated from the University of New South Wales in 2014 with a Bachelor of Commerce, with a major in management and a minor in marketing. While studying, I was fortunate to gain an internship through CareerTrackers with the Australian Indigenous Minority Supply Council, now known as Supply Nation. That was the turning point in my professional journey. I had the privilege of working with giants, trailblazers, especially in the Indigenous business sector. Too many to name, but special mentions go to people like Natalie Walker, Michael McLeod, Crystal Kinsella, Charles Prowse, and Laura Berry. After graduating UNSW, I accepted a grad position at Indigenous Business Australia, IBA, a CareerTrackers 10-10 partner. Shout out to the family. After 2 years at IBA, I accepted a role at the National Centre of Indigenous Excellence in Redfern as the Business Development Manager. I saw it as an opportunity to give back to community, even though it wasn't mine. So my stint there was short. After 8 months, I accepted a brand new role back at home. Currently, I'm the first Human Resources Manager at Wreck Bay Aboriginal Community Council. This has been an amazing experience and a steep learning curve with its own challenges. But I only need remind myself that it was always been my goal to return back home with knowledge and skills into a position of influence and to give back. I'm proud to say that after being home for close to 3 years and as a member of the senior management team, which also includes our CEO and our deputy CEO, I'm now seeing shifts shifts in the organisational culture, a shift in the way we think about and do business, but more importantly, a shift and improvements in the way we care for country and the way we care for our registered members. Returning home, perhaps, initially, I was a little naive. I thought with a big university degree and my experience in the big city, I would come home and make immediate, big, and lasting impact for the betterment of my mob. But straight talk, a large portion of my community, which also included my immediate family, were happy to see me and others like me of my generation returning back home and stepping up and taking on the duties and responsibilities of looking after land, sea and people, and continuing the work of our elders. But I also encountered some negative responses. For example, it took me a long time to build a rapport with my colleagues, my older cousins, my aunties, my uncles, for them to, I guess, respect me and the role that I held. But one of my more memorable experiences was when my fellow community members referred to me as Hitler, the dictator. Yes, yeah. Those who know me and those who've worked with me know that's not me personally, nor is it my leadership style. If it wasn't for my father, my elders, reminding me to stay strong, to stand my ground, and to persevere, I'm not sure how long I would have stayed at Wreck Bay Council. It was in these very same conversations that helped me to, one, understand that whatever I was doing was going to take some time. Two, that I had to change my strategy on how I communicated, consulted and engaged with my own people. I had to invest time in gaining their respect and trust in order to take them along with me on our collective journey to real and sustainable change. And now, 3 years in, the dictator tag is starting to fade away. One of the reasons I share this experience with you all is to address the perception that all Indigenous communities, and especially Indigenous community-led organisations, are dysfunctional. That is not necessarily the case. For me and my community, it takes some time to communicate and consult with our mob and to bring them together, because at the end of the day, as First Nations peoples, we need to protect and fight for the interest of all our mob, especially the more vulnerable members of our community. With all my work responsibilities, I'm also currently studying my postgraduate studies in social impact at the University of New South Wales with the Centre for Social Impact. But I also do a lot of community work. For example, the establishment of the Wreck Bay Community Men's Group, now a youth group. But the project I'm most proudest of is the Indigenous Parents and Carers Committee, or working group, that works with the local Aboriginal Education Officer at Vincennia High School. The purpose of this group is to come together and discuss the social and educational issues of our kids, but more importantly to create, through co-design, grassroots solutions to these often unmet problems. Again, this is outside the scope of my role, but I feel I have a duty to uphold my responsibility to my people and my community, especially after all the investment they put in me. So watch this space as my small community takes the design tools, in particular the design thinking methodology, and mix it with blackfellow thinking methodology to address and prototype and test innovative activities and solutions to address our social issues. When Michael called me last week to speak tonight, it forced me to reflect, to more importantly, reflect on my journey thus far. So with that, I'd like to say that I wouldn't be on the road that I'm currently on if it wasn't for Nouri Gilly at the University of New South Wales, UNSW Business School, and the CareerTrackers program. In closing, I'd like to send, because we're all sitting in here sweating and we're close to the end of the night, in closing, I would like to send a few messages, notes, to a couple of groups within the room tonight. The first one is, dear Career Tracker partners, thank you for giving us the opportunity to gain knowledge and skills that allow us to, one, thrive in our chosen field, but two, to gain those skills and take them back to our own communities. I know that some of you may be thinking about the financial costs of supporting such a program. For example, where is our value for money, etc., etc. But I encourage you to look around the room tonight. I urge you to think about the interns you have within your organisations, the CareerTrackers alumni who are now in full-time professions and killing it. And think about the contribution you have made to the individual immediate family, to their extended family, and to their own community. We thank you. Dear alumni, short and sweet, just keep doing you. My chest swells with pride when I think about and read about all the deadly things you are doing in your respective workplaces and your community. You inspire this brother to step up his game and be better, do better. I'm honoured to be a part of our community. To interns, my advice is the same as it was in 2012 when I was an intern. One, it's okay to have aspirations, goals and dreams. Just be brave enough to chase them. Work hard, but more importantly, believe in yourself. Two, be accountable for your actions and your choices, and don't make excuses. And more importantly, number three, be proud of who you are and your heritage, because so often our people are portrayed and perceived negatively in the media and in general society. Don't get distracted, stay focused. But as I look around the room, I'm hopeful for the future. Here and at universities across the country, we have our future doctors, our future lawyers, our businessmen and women, our social workers and our teachers. I just hope each and every one of them, including you, continue your journey in becoming the inspiring, innovative and effective leaders you will make and become. And I hope that you make a positive difference, not only in the lives of all Australians, but in particular, the lives of our own mob. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, thank you.